in mechatronics engineer. I've been working with IT since 2018. And what else? I like to be here to improve my English, to improve my communication in general. Uh, I like to ride a bike. I like to play soccer, and that's it.
All right. So my name is Jean. I'm 20. I'm from Paraná. So I live in Jardim Alegre, here in Paraná. I'm studying of software engineering at the university. And in my free time, I really like to run at street and play and watch soccer. And right now, I'm learning to swim. It's one sport that I like to learn. And of course, I like to study English and improve my language skills. And I think that's it. Let's move on to the questions. So let's start to the question number one. So, Luis, how has your phone impacted your daily routine and habits?
Well, impacted a lot. I've been using cell phone every day, almost most part of the day, unless I've been working. I try to avoid, but sometimes I need to use for professional purpose too. And that's it. Sometimes I wake up and I check my phone, I check the news. Sometimes I check the social medias, and I'm sure that this is not good. I'm trying to avoid this. I'm trying to use less, and I'm getting, uh, but not how I want. All right. In the night, for example, I've been used to, and I think that this bring some prejudice to our sleep. And I'm trying to avoid. I'm getting to avoid, but sometimes I'm using yet during the night. I'm I have been on front of the screens, and this is not so good.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that just more points. Sorry, I think that cell phone can help us in a lot of things in daily routines. Can let the task more easy, can facilitate our communication, but we have some disadvantages too. I talk just for disadvantages, but we have advantages too.
yeah, sure. Uh, I think, yeah, the phone have impacted my daily routine in good points and bad points. Good points, for example, I can uh, talk with a lot of people anytime. So it helped me a lot because I don't need to go face to face to one place to talk with people. So it's become easier my routine because I can talk anywhere with everybody. So it's one good of the good points, all right. But of course, we have a lot of problems too because usually we spend a lot of time using the smartphone, the most of time using the social medias because uh, we start seeing videos or another things or playing games, for example, in a smartphone. So it's so common to have this bad side of the smartphone using too. But in my routine, I try to control and don't use a lot social media. For example, the what I use the most is just, for example, WhatsApp to talk with another people. But I would like to spend uh, less time in the weekends because I think it's a moment to relax and get out of the screens. But of course, it have impacted a lot because I spend the most of my time using screens and it's not so good the most of times for the eyes, for example. So I think it's one of the ways that the phone have impacted my daily. And what about you, JJ?
I agree with you that it had the bad and good parts of this. And but I think it's mostly good because I grew up with the technology. So I think it's during the process of build the new technology. So I think it's good For me, it did not a big impact in my life because I feel it's normal. It's a new culture for the new society. So, and it's the good part is that you can communicate with people that live far away from you, um, and use for many things and have the information near you all the time. But sometimes is bad, how as you said that sometimes can harm your vision, your eyes, and your back if you all the time using for spending time using the social media. So I try to control the time that I spend in social media as well, because you know that sometimes it's good to know what happened in the world, to not be closed in your ball, in your dome, but you need to be conscious about what you're seeing, what you're searching, right? So this is it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's true. So, all right, let's move on to the question number 2. So, in what ways has your phone affected your attention, span, and ability to focus on tasks? In my case, it affect a lot because right now the smartphones have the notifications, all right? So it's not good to me because I lose my attention a lot when a note I receive a notification on my smartphone, all the smartphone rings. So in my case, to try to control this situation, I leave my smartphone in the silence mode, all right? I don't like to stay listening the smartphone rings when I receive a message, for example. So it affects a lot. I don't like it because I leave my smartphone muted. And what about you, JJ?
Yeah, the same happened with me. Because it's hard to pay attention in something that when you have the inside your cell phone, it's you need to keep far from you the cell phone to try to pay attention something to make some to do some tasks. And I think that you need to pay attention, need to be concentrating and have a space that no um I forget barulho, sounds, you know, you need to be concentrating in something, you need to be the place um beautiful this, you know, this.
Yes. And what about you, Luis? In what ways has your phone affected your attention?
Well, I think that nowadays you have a lot of news, a lot of information uh, from any kind of source in our cell phone. All right. I think that sometimes really, actually, I don't want to know about the news, especially in real time. I just don't want. Let the news be filtered by natural.
Yeah.
If I lose something, okay, that's right, there's no problem. And what is important, I will know, I think. And I just turn off a lot of notifications from my cell phone. Sometimes I even forget to answer my friends in Instagram, for example, but that's okay. If it's something important, they will call me, my family will call me, or some WhatsApp or send WhatsApp message, something like this, all right? I think we
Yes.
have a lot of news, a lot of information, and I don't want to deal with. We are learning on how to deal with because all those things is new. Maybe 10 years ago, we started to receive instantaneous information, instantly news, something like this.
Yeah, the most of the time we don't need to read at the exactly moment that we receive, right? The most of time is not an important thing. So I think that's a good point to to learn how to handle with this kind of a lot of information. Uh, but all right, let's move on to the question number 3. So, do you feel that your phone has made you more or less socially connected with others? JJ, what do you think?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know exactly what I think, yeah, but um in the screen you can see your in social media, for example, you can see what happened with your friends or a bit of what happened with them, and the you create less necessity to be with with them. I think, yeah, I let I turn more or less socially connected with them because we know what happened, or they see, or they see it, or the country that they are, because you don't need to, let's go out, but the your friend is in Paris, or I don't know, in Argentina, for example. So I can't ask for go out because I already know that they don't be here. So I think it's on one thing, but I think the social media create a new way to communicate with friends and the others. So in general, I think the humanity create a new culture to communicate in physical, face to face with others.
Yeah, that's true. And what about you, Luis? What do you think?
I think that there is no right answer for this question because we can see this in at least two perspectives, all right? Let's imagine that we have friends from another place, from geographically distributed, and then all those technologies, those tech things, help us to be more close with our friends. Even with a message, we can support each other. All right, I think that this is good. It's as JJ said, it's a new way to connect with other people, to communicate. We are learning on how to deal with, all right? And sometimes uh, our cell phone can make us more socially with geographic friends, distributed person, but sometimes can make us less socially with person near to us. And this is why I'm trying to avoid to use cell phone when I stay with my friends. I try to avoid myself and just talk and speak and listen with my family without cell phone, something like this. All right.
Yeah, I think that the smartphone helped us to make virtual friends, all right? But in the real life, probably not, because when we are using the smartphone, we can send, for example, a message to everybody that we want to connect with other people, like or dislike their photos or videos. But in the real life, the most of the time we lose this contact, right? We prefer, not prefer, but it's easier to make friends uh, in a virtual platform, because we just send uh, a request to make this friend, but in the real life, it's not so easy, right? So I think that it's the 2 points. I think that, but I don't think that it's helped our become more socially, because it's not a real contact as we have in the real life, right? Talking to people near to us. But of course, when we have a friend that live in another city, another country, it helped a lot because we can keep in touch at the and send a message every time that we want. But I think it prejudicate a lot to make friends, colleagues in the real life, to hang out, to talk face to face. So I think it's the two sides that we can see this question. But all right, let's move on to the question number 4. So, have you noticed any change in your memory or ability to retain information since using your phone regularly? I think sometimes, yeah, because I don't need to try to decorate something or remember. I can take notes on my smartphone to save any information that I probably will use in the future. So I think it's one of the good points. All right. I can save a lot of information in the smartphone and get this information in the future when I will need it. So I think it's one of the good points of the smartphone. And with this, I don't need to try to retain in my memory some information that it's not essential in this present moment. So I think it's one of the good points. And what about you, JJ? What do you think?
Yeah, I noticed some change. Mainly when treated about not important information, because when we have a routine that all the time, or mostly of people staying on the social media and switch up the things that we like. And when it's important, we stay here reading or seeing or watching something. But it's has a lot of information, so we discard. I haven't said discard. Fill up the bad information or not important information. So I think we trained our brain to make the same in our life. So when I see something that is not important, I get off of my mind. And this is the most important thing that has changed, I think, in my brain through the technology, or using the cell phone. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you try to retain every information that you
Yeah.
receive, it's a kind of impossible.
When it's not important, the information vanish off my mind.
Yeah, that's true. And what about you, Luis?
No, I totally agree with all of you. Sometimes we don't need to retain or to concern about retaining information because we can access. We have a lot of sources of information. I think that this is a huge impact on our life nowadays. So think like this. Sometimes we are talking about something and you can check the information. Sometimes I've been working with something and I don't need to retain a lot of documentation page or information, so I can check with easy access. Something like this.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. So let's move on to the question number 5. So, JJ, how has your phone influenced you overall productive and time management skills?
A bit because I need to be concentrated, as I said. So I need to build a place that is not have that has not noise, that has not something that ask me attention. So I need to all the time keep my cell phone far from me. Um, but it mostly is this thing. And other point that I could say is that cell phone, or no, not cell phone, but actually the social media. Uh, how I grew up with social media. I think it's hard to keep um a lot of time without seeing, without watching what happened in the social media. So this is um distract me. No, I'm not distracted. What is um uh, I don't want to lose time with social media, but how I grew up with this, it's hard to keep far from the social media. So I doing something, and all the time I thinking about to watch, to check my cell phone. So it's hard for me, and I lost a bit of producti- productivity and my skills. Um, yeah, I think my skills improved with cell phone because I can make a lot of things in a lot of things in the cell phone. It can help us with maximizing time because we can search for something fastly and have a lot of all most of information in the world here in the palm of your hand. So yeah, this
Okay, and what about you, Luis?
Well, I really need to confess that I don't know exactly how my cell phone impact my productive. Not exactly my productive, all right? I can see that all the technology we have nowadays, at least here in my city, we have easy access to internet, all right? And this impacts my productive. If I've been using a cell phone or a computer or even other device, all right? And well, let's see, when I was at the university and the WhatsApp came, this impact at that time, this has a huge impact at that time. I remember now because this changed how we communicate. It it's turned to almost instantly information sharing. All right. If something changed on the schedule, we know now. We knew now at almost at real time. All right, something like this. I think that, well, I don't know exactly about my productive, but this helps me to plan my day, let the things more dynamic, all right? But let me plan my day day by day, something like this, all right?
Yes. So in my case, I think, for example, 6 months ago, uh, I entered in the history of the smartphone to see how much time I'm spending with each apps, all right? And I see that in just one day, I spend, I think, maybe uh, 2.5 hours or 3 hours using the social media. And for me, it's uh, a lot of time, all right, that I just using it. I don't see the time passing. So I think it's one way that it can impact our productivity. Right now, I'm control this time better than the past. So I'm using just, for example, 10 or 20 minutes per day. So it's not a so long time in my routine, right? In my in my case, and I'm trying to use apps to help to develop a routine and to plan what habits you need to do in the day, or what tasks you should complete. So I'm trying to use the smartphone to help my productivity and to manage the time and the task that I need to complete one day to create a habit, for example. So I think in the past it have influenced in the negative aspect, because I'm spending a lot of time using the smartphone, not to good purpose, but right now I'm trying to use the smartphone to create new habits and to control my daily tasks and management my time. So right now I'm using my smartphone better, I think. All right, so let's move on to the question number 6. So, Luis, do you believe that your phone has had a positive or negative impact on your mental health? Why?
Well, hard question, because I don't see, in my case, exactly a negative impact on my mental health. But even if I don't see, don't means that didn't have or don't have, all right? And I'm sure that this could have a big negative impact in mental health in a lot of persons, because the person maybe could start to compare their lives with each other, right? Something like this, and they see sometimes a person do a lot of happy things, and they think, oh, why my life isn't so happy, and something like this, why I don't have this clothes, why I don't have uh, this new cell phone, all right?
Yeah,
I think that this could have a big, very big impact. In my case, for example, I think that was a moment that I was using a lot of social medias, not exactly to compare with each other, but to have a lot of a lot of information, to know all those things. I would like to know. I would like to well, how can I say? I don't know exactly, but I was think that I need to keep updates on the news, something like this. But well, this doesn't matter. In fact, we don't know. We just need to live our lives to avoid the screens, or to avoid a lot of information. I think something like this.
yeah. As you said, a lot of people uh, use the smartphone to compare, right? Not exactly because they want, but it happened just to compare with other people, that people have better lives or something like this. So yeah, I think that it's really impact the mental health. But for example, just if you use your smartphone for 4 or 5 hours just for entertainment, right, or social media, uh, the long periods I think impact the mental health, even if you don't compare yourself with other people. So I think in the past it have impacted me, because I spend a lot of time using this uh, the the smartphone, for example, to play games. So it is one kind of, it can impact, all right? Not because you are comparing yourself, but because you spend a long period of your day using this kind of technology. And not just with smartphones, I think it happened with computers too, or with television. So I think this kind of technologies, this kind of screens impact our mental health just if you use, even when we use a long time. So it have impacted me in the past most than right now. So I'm trying to improve it to don't use a lot my smartphone during the week, and try at least at the Sunday, for example, don't enter social media or things like this. I try to get out of the virtual world. All right. And what about you, JJ? Do you believe that your phone has impact your positive or negative on your mental health?
To be honest, I think it's more positive. If you know how to use the cell phone, the social media, and how it contributes for your life in the good way, and you can use without predict or the have damage in your mind, without damage in your mind. So I think, for example, the cell phone I use in my case, some hours in the day, three or till 4 hours per day, but I use mostly for studying or to get information, not for in social media. I spend some time in social media, but I spend mostly for studying. So I think it's good, and in my case, it not affect me in the not affect my health, my mental health. So, but in how you said, sometimes I have people that use a lot in the social media, spend time this, and in the long time, using this in this way, uh, could bring some bad problems to your health mind, mesmo saying without you reserve and you noted that it could bring something bad for you.
Yeah. And we can think in positive impacts too. For example, if you go to travel to another country and you are far off your friends and your parents, you can use your smartphone to keep contact with these people that you love, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the good impacts, because if you without the smartphone, without the internet, maybe if you haven't contact with these people, your mental health problems would increase. But when you keep in touch with these people, you keep contact, I think it's a positive impact. I think it's helped your mental health because you are far. If you talk, for example, of the geography, but you are next because you can talk every day with these people that you live every day. So I think it's one of the
Yeah,
good impacts to your mental health.
I agree with you. Let me add something. Um, for example, if you need to meditating, you can use the cell phone or have a class in the exercising class in through the screen of the cell phone. You can, because you have a teacher that will teach you from New York or from Rio de Janeiro. You're here in São Paulo, could easily have a class and all the time that you need, and so has a lot of positive ways to use the cell phone without damages, and without prejudicing your health, I mean, your mental health.
Yeah, during the pandemic, I used a lot to watch exercises to do at home. All right.
Me too.
So it helped me a lot, my mental health, because I just stay at home, uh, and without exercising me, probably my mental health will be more prejudicate than when I'm exercising my body. So it helped my mind too.
Yeah, good.
All right, so let's move on to the question number 7. So have you experienced any negative consequence, such as an addiction or dependence, as a result of using your phone excessively? What do you think, Luis?
Well, let me see. I've been reading the question again.
The question number 7.
Yes, I think, thank you. I think, yes, I had experienced something like this because in the past I had used a lot of social medias, all right? Any kind, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, something like this, even something like this, all right? This is very bad for us, I think.
Yes.
The mainly negative consequence could be, for example, in our sleep night, we didn't sleep well, right? Something like this, I think.
Yeah, that's true. In my case, I think, yeah, if you consider that to use a long time per day, because it already happened with me, uh, for example, 6 months ago, I think, as when I entered to see how much time I'm spending on the apps, and I see that I spend 4 hours per day using the smartphone. Uh, but I think right now I'm control myself better, and I'm not using this amount of time. So I don't think it's a dependence. All right, I can live without the smartphone without problems. Uh, just to I use right now just to keep in contact with the people. I don't use more a lot the social medias. But when I use the social media, the most of time is in the my laptop, so it's hard, and I need to enter on the website. So it's a way that I use to control myself. But I don't know if it's one addiction, because I know some persons that if you get their smartphone 1 day per week, probably these people will become crazy because he don't have access to internet or to the smartphone. I'm not in this case, all right. I can control myself and uh, pass 1 day without my smartphone without problems, because right now I'm control myself better than in the past. And what about you, JJ?
Well, I think yeah, I think not dependence or dependence it's a problem because how as we know, we are we have the routine to use the cell phone, and when you pass a lot of time without using the cell phone, it's cause something bad in my mind, I think. And we turn more drastically more anxious after the technologies as cell phone and social medias, because they they created a new way to live, and to communicate, to search about something. So I think I turn more anxious, and a bit of the create a bit of the dependence of the cell phone, because we have a lot of thing in our hands. So it's difficult to live without. So this is it.
Yeah, this part of the anxious, I think I developed a little because of the using of the social medias too, more in the past. But I think I'm improving it, getting a moment out of the virtual screens, all right, or something like that. That going out to my house, practicing sport. It's some ways that I try to control it. But
Yeah.
it's so common to happen.
I think make exercise is something good to control the anxiety. Oh, I forgot the word. The anxious, because
Yeah.
the anxiety. I don't know how to say. I start to swim and to run to control this. It's a good way to get better.
Yeah, that's true. Because when you are practicing some sport, you forgot all things of the world, all right?
Yeah, and make
You
something help and bring health for your body as well.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes it seems that the sport it's better for the mind than for the body. In my case, for example, because when I'm for example, right now I'm learning how to swim. I starting these classes the last 2 week. So I forgot everything that I have in my life because I'm inside a
Yeah.
pool and I just need to survive, all right, and learn how to swim. So I forgot everything. So I think the moment that I practice sport helped me a lot to control my anxious. Then when I'm in front of a screen or using the social media.
Yeah, good.
All right, so let's move on. I think it's the question. Everybody already have answered this question, all right? So let's go to the question number 8. So in what ways has your phone changed your communication style and interpersonal relationships? In my case, I think with using the phone, I speak less because the most of time I just send message or type. So I talk less. For example, when we haven't WhatsApp and we need to call to the people, all right. Right now, it's so hard. The moments that I really need to call to do a voice call, all right, or a video call to talk with other people. So my communication, I changed a little bit the way because I use more the message, the text message, and interpersonal relationships. Uh, it's one thing that I think not to me but to everybody. Uh, we don't have contact more with people than in the past because we keep in touch more virtual. All right. So yeah, I think as we have talked before, but it changed the way that we communicate. I think right now I communicate more with messages. And what about you, Luis?
Totally agree with you. I think that another point that I can say is that my communication become more objective because sometimes we are doing a asynchronous communication, all right? We are send message and let the time, let the way the other person will read and answer. And then we become more objective. We send a message just with the content that we need. All right. We don't, I'm avoid, for example, hey, how are you doing? And I won't let the person answer. I
Yeah.
just send, hey, how are you doing? And then type the what I need to say, all right? Something like this. I think that I talk less, as you said too, but I'm trying to avoid to use my cell phone while I'm with in person with others. And this is a way to use another kind of communication, not just a tech communication, all right? But we have advantages too in this case because I can, as I said before, I can communicate with the others, geographically distributed, my friends from far cities, all right? And what else? We are here to improve our English. This is a good way to. We are using tech. We are talking about cell phone, but I think we can include their other device in the same category, something like this, and that's it.
Yeah, that's true. It's not just about the phones, all right? Most of things that we are talking here, yeah, we can include the notebooks, the laptops, the computers. And what about you, JJ? What do you think?
Yeah, I guess so. That helps a lot change, significant change in my communication with my friends or family, and because as Luis said, I think my communication turned more objective, so more direct. I just communicate through the WhatsApp, for example, when I need to say something important, or I answer something that I feel that is important, because I don't want to waste time communicating with random conversations, you know. So I think is this in this way my communication has changed in this way, turn more effective, more objective. Yeah, this
All right. So let's move on to the question number 9. So have you noticed any changes in your creativity or ability to think independent since using your phone frequently? To be honest, I don't think that the smartphone impact my creativity or ability to think, because I don't use the smartphone to create new things, right? More I use more the laptops to do it, but I think if you have an impact, it's a positive impact, because I can search more things on the internet. I have a fast connection and a fast way to search something on Google and get an answer. So, and I have it in a mobile phone. So I think if have an impact, it's a good impact, because I have an easier access to the information. And what about you, Luis? What do you think?
The number 9, all right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I haven't noticed. All right, I think that for a creativity person, it just become a new way to get information, to search, to learn, and to visualize the new things to do. All right, not exactly impact. It could be a positive impact, in fact. All right, I think.
Yeah, in my case too. And what about you, JJ?
for sure. In my eyes, I think that that have a positive effect for me, because I guess that I'm a creative person. So in the internet, on the internet, in the social medias, in the cell phone, that has, as you said, has a lot of information, and all the time has a range of information. So I think it is more, for me, it's more easily to think something that is more usual, is more effective, because I know what happened in the world. I know what has created, what already exists in the world. So in the real time. So I think it's more, I have more, I create more creativity in my mind. I think it's a positive effect.
Yes, we have 2 minutes, so I think we can answer fast the question number 10. So what steps, if any, have you taken to minimize the negative effects of your phone and create a healthier relationship with it? In my case, as I said, I like to leave my smartphone muted, to not get notification, or to see my smartphone ring during I'm working or study, for example. So I think maybe leave the smartphone far from me. It's some of steps that I can use in my day to try to minimize the negative effects. And what about you, JJ?
Yeah, the same. I think it's the same of you. Keep your cell phone without notification. and try to do something more real, uh, be- for create a not necessity to stay all the time checking on the cell phone. Yeah, 2 step there is good way to improve it.
Yes. And what about you, Luis?
Totally agree with all you guys. In my case, for example, I turned off my smartphone notifications. I'm trying to avoid to use before to get sleep. I'm trying to build a head rabbit to read some books. I'm not a head person, but I'm trying to do something with small steps. It could be better than to stay on the smartphone pulling down in a lot of information.
Yes. All right, guys. Today we can answer all these 10 questions. And before we finish, I will send here the survey link so you can share if you like or dislike this topic and share another topics that you want to talk in the next weeks. I will prepare the material, the questions, search a video, and then bring to us to our conversation. All right. I think that's it. It was a pleasure to talk with all of you today, and I hope see all of you again here too the next week to talk about technology too. All right.
Thank you.
That's it, guys.
Very much.
Have a good nice
Thank you.
weekend.
Yeah, for you too.
Was a
You
pleasure.
all.